Welcome everyone to this recorded webinar on Absentee Property Owners 101. My name is Jackie Swihart and I'm the Indiana Main Street Coordinator for the Indiana Office of Rural and Community Affairs. If you're unfamiliar with the Main Street program, here's a little bit of background information on this next slide. Indiana Main Street was formed in 1985 to assist communities in revitalizing their downtowns. The Indiana Main Street program is a coordinating program of Main Street America, which is a subsidiary of the National Trust for Historic Preservation. Local Main Street programs utilize the Main Street 4-point approach, which focuses on elements of design, organization, promotion, and economic vitality. The Indiana Main Street program is currently managed by the Indiana Office of Community and Rural Affairs, or also known as OCRA, which works with local, state, and national partners to provide resources and technical assistance to aid communities in shaping and achieving their vision for community and economic development. For more information on either OCRA or the Indiana Main Street program, you can visit our website at in.gov/OCRA/ or follow us on social media accounts. It's now my pleasure to introduce our speaker and the creator of this toolkit, Molly Connor. Molly is a law student extern with the Lieutenant Governor's Office, and over the past couple of months, she's been working really hard to collect information on today's topic by conducting independent research, consulting with law professors and other experts in the field, as well as with Indiana Main Street directors. So with that, welcome Molly, and I'll go ahead and turn it over to you.
Thank you, Jackie. So today we're going to talk a little bit about property owners and to give a general overview of what absentee property owners are. And the way we'll be referring to them throughout the toolkit is that APOs, or absentee property owners, are those who own property in a downtown district without actually occupying that property or managing that property. And we've heard from a lot of main streets that there may be properties or buildings that are not sort of living up to like the values of the downtown, and this toolkit will give you sort of best practices and ideas of how to work with these property owners to realize sort of the potential of all of your downtown buildings. A little bit further into the nitty-gritty of APO management, we want to review some legal considerations to take into account when you're viewing this webinar or reading the toolkit. The information in this toolkit is really for general deliberative purposes, and it's meant to be like a helpful guide, but it's not legal advice, and the information is really deliberative to help Main Street communities. Several of these remedies that we'll discuss in this toolkit really would benefit from having legal counsel, whether that's an attorney on your Main Street board or general counsel for your town or city. A lot of these remedies would benefit from having such a person involved. So consider reaching out to one of those individuals and to sort of move forward with some of the remedies that we'll dive further into right now. So why does working with absentee property owners matter? I think, as a lot of Main Street communities know, vacant properties or properties that are not really fully where their potential isn't fully realized can really affect and undermine the value of an entire downtown district. So these can be vacant properties, absentee owner properties, and some of these sort of locations can pose a serious safety risks, physical health risks, and can bring down property values in the downtown. So it's really to the benefit of the entire downtown that Main Streets and municipal governments figure out how to work with these property owners to sort of realize the full potential of an entire downtown district. So we'll review all of these remedies in more detail as we go through the toolkit, but here's a general overview of the types of remedies we're going to be talking about today. It's important to note that it will probably take a combination of many of these different types of remedies, and the remedies that we'll discuss vary on the spectrum of more friendly communications to more strict judicial and legal remedies. So it might take multiple of these remedies layered on top of one another to find your perfect fit for what works with your community and your property owners. The first remedy is really a good place to start. This is outreach to the property owner. It may be a good idea at the outset, if you're seeing a property that doesn't look like it's being taken care of, to just communicate with this property owner. This may start as a friendly communication letter or an email. And when you are viewing this toolkit, we've included attached to this toolkit is a draft letter that you can use and plug in your information to send to this absentee property owner that really talks about what Main Street is, what the purpose of Main Street is and does for its community. And it offers Main Street as a resource to help that property owner. It's a property owner's like business or building is in disarray. This could indicate that that property owner no longer has use for or no longer has interest in maintaining that building, which may be an indication to Main Street that that property owner is potentially looking to sell or transfer ownership of that building. So working with maybe other local businesses or local real estate brokers to potentially offer up a buyer for that building might be an opportunity that that APO is looking for. And then in that letter that we've included in this toolkit, we've included some language, or we've put in some language that you can use that is a little bit more firm and stern if your Main Street has tried communicating with this APO before and you're just not getting sort of the response that you're looking for. The second remedy is more judicial in nature, and this may be a remedy that it would be really helpful local counsel or a local attorney involved, and this is the creation of a land trust. So land trusts are entities that are built to hold property, and this may be a perfect option if you've reached out to that APO, that property owner, and they no longer have interest or really want to sort of rid themselves of that property. This would be a good place to hold that property. This legal entity can hold the property until you found the type of owner or the type of buyer that you want, that you think is really going to own that property and maintain that property in a way that meets Main Street's goals and objectives. So if this is a remedy that you're interested in, like a trust to hold on to this land to find the best owner, it would be a good first step to consult with your local legal counsel. So the next remedy that we're looking at would be code enforcement. And this is one of the best remedies for getting Main Street involved and the broader community involved in an effort to sort of make the downtown area better together. So code enforcement is a combination of different strategies, and it's the process of using the codes, whether they be zoning codes or building codes, using these codes as tools to help enforce better property maintenance practices for downtown. So what a lot of towns and cities do is create code enforcement portals, which is basically an online form that sits on a city or town government's website where individual community members or Main Street members sort of catalog and file complaints against properties that maybe aren't living up to their full potential, that might be in violation of local or county level code. And then the city or the county would delineate a person who would serve as a code enforcement officer, who would sort of follow up on those complaints to ensure that they're valid, and then work with the property owners, potentially give them tools to be able to remedy that situation. And if that property owner isn't remedying that situation, you can create some tools for cleaning those properties up, or repayment if the city is the one who's cleaning and maintaining that property. So on this slide, we've included an idea of what that code enforcement from others. These are pretty basic portals that really just gather information about the type of complaint and sort of the details of the nature of the complaint so that the city or county can follow up and determine next steps to make sure that we're getting that property up to snuff. So these are pretty basic portals. They don't have a lot of parts, but they can be really effective in making sure that there's a community effort and an emphasis on making the downtown better together. So the next remedy is condemnation proceedings, a remedy like a judicial type remedy. And this is when a municipality or relevant organization can exercise the power of eminent domain over a property. So this would be something where you would work with municipal council to determine whether or not this is a pretty strict remedy. This is a pretty stern remedy. So when you're looking at a property, you really want to make sure that this property would be a good candidate for this type of thing. And this could include properties that are public nuisances. They're really major health or safety risks to a downtown. So this is going to be a little bit further along your spectrum of like when we're getting to a point where the city really and the courts need to step in and get involved. The Indiana Unsafe law is another sort of like legislative remedy that can be added to any municipal or county level code that adopts this language by ordinance. So this ordinance exists at the state level. The state has enacted this language, and this language can be adopted by any local county or city government, and they can amend that language into your local county or city ordinances. And this can help sort of give your code or your local zoning codes or property maintenance codes some teeth, which will allow your main street to really take advantage of the tools that are available in the code. And you'll have some remedies for maintenance and repair standards to govern some of those vacant properties in your downtown. The next remedy is vacant property receivership, which is also a judicial type remedy. And this is where a municipality, a city, or a town, or a nonprofit would apply to the court and be appointed as the receiver of the property. And this means that that organization or that city can remove trash, debris, they can clean up the property, they can make it safe and sightly again, and bring that building up to code, and oftentimes bill the property owner for those that cleanup that the city was then required to do because the absentee property owner really wasn't maintaining that building in a way that was safe. So this would be another opportunity to get local council involved to see if a property is a good sort of candidate for vacant property receivership, which would allow a 501c3 or the municipality to kind of take over the maintenance of that property. So that was all of our remedies, but important things to note in addition is that a lot of these remedies require a strong relationship with your local government, especially when it comes to condemnation proceedings or vacant property receivership or land trusts. You really want to have a strong relationship with the city to understand what the goals are and when the city needs to get involved to help sort of manage that relationship too. And then some of these remedies may require advocacy at the local level for changes in the municipal code. So this may mean that if your town or municipality doesn't have your code doesn't have teeth, or maybe you don't have enough tools to use within the code, you may have to advocate for changes in your code to make it a little bit stronger, to make it a greater tool for Main Street to use. And then as we mentioned in earlier slides, these remedies are not one size fits all. There's really no one remedy that's going to solve all of the issues with any APO situation. So be on a case-by-case basis, almost a property owner by property owner basis to decide what remedies are going to work best for your community in order to get you to results and to get you to a long-term solution. Have any questions on this toolkit or you have any follow-up concerns, don't hesitate to reach out to your OKRA community liaison. And we've also included some additional resources for you to follow up on if you want more context around APOs, if you want more advice and further reading on what it means to work with a vacant property owner. Feel free to follow up on these resources. And we wish you all the best in your work with APOs in the future. So thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.